Perfect. Well, I will kick off this morning's event. I think I know everyone here, but if not, I'm Tiara Bonds, founder of Take Charge Consulting and also an organizer with 1 Million Cups. So thank you all for being here. We do this every Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. And personally, I can't believe this is our last one of 2021. We're going to skip the next 2 weeks and then see you guys again on January 5th. So this year just went by way too fast. So this is our link tree. Make sure to follow us on all of the social medias and sign up for our weekly updates. But with this link tree, you'll get access to everything that you could need for 1 Million Cups Seattle. So what is 1 Million Cups about? We are about supporting our community, sharing ideas, offering help, asking for help. And we do this all while drinking coffee, or for me, it's tea today. And so a little bit of what makes us different. I'm sure we've all been to numerous networking events to grow our business, but there's clear differences that I saw with 1 Million Cups compared to a few of the other ones. One was the elimination of the stale robotic networking, where we walk around, work the room, pass out business cards, don't really connect. And that was something that I did not see in 1 Million Cups at all. So I quickly noticed it was about, connecting rather than networking. We're a group that's for the community, by the community. We practice presentations and not pitches. And then our goal is to be radically and intentionally inclusive. So this is our Seattle community, but there's over 100 other communities with 3,500 plus volunteers, 700 plus volunteers, and then 3,500 plus attendees. And so if you wanted to attend another 1 Million Cups in another city, you can do that. We all meet at 9 a.m. So just notice the time zones. So to sum it up, we are about education, presentations, and connections. Those are the 3 pillars that we focus on. So more than 8,000 entrepreneurs have been able to share their ideas and their stories with the 1 Million Cups community. I was fortunate to be one of those entrepreneurs, and it was by far the best feedback I received from any other communities that I'm a part of. So I recommend, if you guys do have a story to tell or an idea that you want to share and get feedback on, I definitely recommend applying to present. And so a huge thank you to our sponsors, Method Customization and the McLaughlin Method. Again, these events are ran by the community, so without our sponsors, we wouldn't be able to do this, as well as our volunteers. So we wouldn't be able to run these events without them, and we kind of bring all of our skills and our love for the community together to create and run these events. And we're always looking for more community volunteers, so reach out to us if that's something you're interested in. It's a great way to kind of practice your skills that you may use in areas of your business. So ways to get involved. If there's a specific skill that you maybe want to practice, or something that you just know that you're good at and would benefit our community, feel free to email us. And then also, we're just a really fun group. So we have a lot of fun together, and it's fun being able to put these together for the community. So what you can expect today, after this, we'll do a 6-minute presentation from James Anderson and his company, SmartMov. And then we'll do a 20-minute Q&A, and then we'll connect further into smaller breakout rooms after the Q&A. So here are some tips for being a supportive listener. What helps me is taking notes during the presentation. And you want to look for, things that stand out, things that you want to learn more about, where you can share your expertise. And then rather than telling the entrepreneur what you think they should do, kind of form your questions with, what about X, or have you thought about X? And then also just limit distractions so that we can be focused and give our energy to the presenter. So when we open up the Q&A, we'll use the raise hand feature that will get you in line to ask your question or give your feedback on the presentation, or you can just put your feedback and questions in the chat and we'll get to them as well. So with that, I will bring up the presenter to the stage, James Anderson. If we could use our reactions tabs, that would be awesome to bring him up. It is all yours, James.
All right. So can you guys all hear me?
Yes.
Excellent. All right. So SmartMov, making smart financial moves together, is the company. So from a young age, I was always delivering papers and I always managed to have money to spend. In fact, I just kind of always went from one job to another, always managed to keep busy. Yet in high school, I hadn't saved any money. I had to take out a car loan for a new car. My parents and I took out loans for my college, like a lot of folks. And I even took out a lease on a Jeep Wrangler in college, which, you know, yay, very smart. After college, I continued this cycle of spending all my money. I had a degree in finance with a minor in economics. I could talk the talk, yet I was doing what most everybody was doing. I was spending my money, and I was embarrassed to admit to close friends and family that I was only breaking even after all those monthly payments that I had accumulated. Where was my money going? I started to track my everyday savings, moving the money I saved to a savings account and against my debts. Where the money I was saving wasn't going didn't matter as much as the shift in mentality. By becoming intentional with spending less, I was more aware of what little things I was spending money on. By tracking, I saw how much I could save and still live my life. It was the small things. I stopped buying a drink with my meals at lunch, and we just actually talked about the fact that we're saving even more by having, you know, our lunches with us instead of going out every day. So those types of things I started just putting in a savings account or put against debts. And I started wanting to beat yesterday. Basically, I wanted to see how much I could save today. What other things could I still do? But now I was intentionally broke because of the fact that I was deciding to spend my money very specifically. I had created a habit loop. So by instead of seeing something in the store and initially buying it, what I was doing is seeing something at the store or the counter and immediately going, okay, how much can I save out of this? Do I really need that Coke with my Chipotle or just the Chipotle today? Or by saving for my insurance, now I could increase my deductible, which would help me get a discount. By saving for my annual insurance premiums, I would get a discount. So these small changes created this great flywheel effect where my savings grew and thus made it so that my future payments that I had to do shrunk and helped me save more money. And by doing so, let's go back to it, is the fact that I was able to actually start this company. So instead of being in a situation where, you know, I was still having to work the 9 to 5, when COVID hit, I was able to start this solution to try to help people. So I still see that this problem is impacting a lot of people. Millennials and Gen Zs make up over 138 million people. And there's over 72 million people in these groups with no savings for retirement whatsoever. Nearly 87 million of these people report still living paycheck to paycheck. And studies show on average, they spend $450 per month on non-essential purchases, like insurance, where you could actually get a discount by doing a few things. That's over $5,000 annually that we could save that sometimes just kind of leaks from our pockets like I saw. The current solutions really don't solve the problem. Instead, they actually want you to continue to spend money because what they want you to do is, you know, oh, if you spend X, we'll round it up to the next dollar and save part of that. Or perhaps maybe there's going to be a situation where you're budgeting, but you don't have a budget bucket for your savings because you're not paying yourself. You're just paying and budgeting out like I was doing for all my payments. So we created an app that allows users to delight in their financial wins. so they can tell people about the things that they're winning, and so others can learn how to do that. We can bring awareness to spending because people all of a sudden go, oh, this is actually one of those situations where I can save some money. And the small wins really add up and accelerate your savings because, a $4 coffee may not save you a lot, but over the duration of a year, that's $1,000. And now all of a sudden that $1,000 can go into making an annual purchase of your insurance, which actually gets you a 25% discount, which then you can then pay forward and then reduce your deductible and help you win some money more. So our app allows you to first create a savings goal. So whether or not it's fun or maybe a sinking fund, then you can create a post. And then finally, you can see your post and interact with others as they're doing it and learn more about how people are saving their money. Right now, the market is ready for a solution. There are countless social media influencers across the platforms for talking about their personal finance journeys. Dave Ramsey has over 16 million listeners still tuning in to his weekly broadcast. Stash and Acorn savings apps have over 9 million users, and Digit, another savings app, claims that since inception, they've saved over $1 billion on their platform, while, get this, charging a monthly subscription fee and offering 0% interest on those savings. So the competition is out there, but we think that we're coming up with something that's a little different that helps you kind of save in a new, different way. How we plan to try to make money is a subscription advertisement model. So where basically we'll have advertisements within the app that are highly focused on the types of things that are important to people, discounts. And then if you don't want to see those advertisements, then we will try to take away those advertisements by helping you have a monthly subscription, kind of like the Digits. What we're really excited about is the challenge manager, where we'll challenge you with the savings thing. So this week, we're going to challenge you to, stop going and drinking coffee over at the local place and brew your coffee. And at the end of the challenge, you'll get a coupon for completing that challenge from one of our partners. Or perhaps maybe we'll take you through some financial education with another partner. And if you fill out 2 weeks of financial education, you get a discount towards, another cool thing, all sorts of things, riding your bike to work or other things like that. So finally, what our marketing is actually where I'm going to be asking for some help from the group. But right now we're targeting financial coaches and counselors. So just helping people get onto the app and kind of learning how to use the app without just me having to walk people through, and using those people as our Sherpas to kind of take them through and kind of get that nucleus created of people interacting within the app. We have a little over 1,600 followers since inception. So we started about January of this year. And so that's an okay number, but we need to translate that into the business. So we got to look at how we can turn our Instagram and a few of the other social aspects into a plan. And then when we really want to hit the ground, we're going to try to work with the financial bloggers, influencers, and that sort of group, as well as FinCon, to meet more financial bloggers. And that is purely because we've actually talked to other folks that have been in the space and have exited, and they were able to realize that they got no traction from traditional marketing. If they bought an ad on Instagram or on Facebook or on any of these, nobody paid attention. But once a financial blogger or somebody started talking about them or put them in the top 10, all of a sudden they saw 6,000 new users in 1 week. So that's the direction that we'll go once we want to do it. But we got to work on a few other things just so people know what we're doing and what we are. So this is kind of asked. So are you able to introduce us to other users that fit the profile of financial coach, a counselor, blogger, influencer? So if you're, or even like a podcaster, it'd be great to talk to people and, fitness, anything really. And we are looking for someone to help us with advertising, Stephanie, and marketing. And then would you or someone want to be a beta user and kind of help us do it? Thank you, Tara. And kind of take us through everything. So You can scan right now and sign up and take a look at it. You can visit our website at smartmove.co, not a typo, somebody in Panama owns.com. You can email me at james@smartmove.co or austin@smartmove.co. And of course, please follow us at Instagram at smart.move and then on Facebook at smartmove.finance. So with that, I can kind of open it up for some questions.
Oh, that was awesome, James. Thank you. Thank you.
That was great. And that contact information James mentions it is in the chat in case anybody's interested.
Fantastic.
Awesome. We'll start Q&A with Sarah.
Hello. So I think it's a really great idea. I love the idea of gamifying savings because it's hard to do. I have a question. I wanted to understand, could you tell me more about your business model and how you're monetizing this?
Okay, so yeah, just a little bit more. So there's going to be that news feed that will have advertisements in there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's step one. So we'll do that. On the website itself, we're actually creating kind of a competitor to the nerd wallets and that sort of thing that's going to show you the best, just the straight up, again, it's an advertising play, but so
Okay.
that we're able to bring in the best credit card offers and the best bank offers, because the current competition actually is only focusing on paying the paid for, so the click-throughs. So we're going to go for those lower payments on the advertising, but to bring in that. And then, of course, I kind of skipped over the white label. So there's a lot of folks that help people at that $100,000 or more mark. So once you've hit that wealth of 100,000 or more, a lot of the personal finance folks will actually come out and help you. So what we're going to try to do is create a platform that is white labeled, so powered by SmartMove, that brings them into it so that they can interact with their clients directly in there and help them save. Because what we're going to be introducing is a thing called tribes, where you can actually have like groups and teams working together towards savings goals and that sort of thing.
That's quite cool.
So yeah, so we hope to use that to then kind of power it. So those are kind of the main pillars of it. And of course, just if we see something good, like, home insurance or something like that, we'll be putting that stuff out and getting that sort of thing.
So it sounds like it's a combination then of direct to the consumer ads and also enterprise white label product. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. All of our financial business plan is right now on the advertising. It's a nice to have on the white label, but we're not putting anything on that just because it's such a possibility.
And I imagine it's a lot slower to get that moving as well.
Yeah. It'd be nice to go and actually start hitting businesses.
Yeah, I bet.
Getting it in front of employees and then, so.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Stephanie.
Okay, I have too many questions, but I will try to do the top one or two. I actually was downloading it just to interact with it at the moment because this is the first time I've logged in to actually see it. And I love the idea of the implementation of tribes, mainly because I could see that as like a family support savings. So again, kids with technology, iPhones already really, really early. They're going to be at least interacting with a parent that might have like an overall, and this is something to consider, user credential base. You mentioned the white label aspect. I think that's fantastic in terms of using, because it's a web app currently, is to take the same application and put it on a subdomain. And then you can put something like, John Smith finance.smartmove.app.co, whichever that ends up being the application one, that's going to be that subsequent subdomain model. That way you can give that branding to them, but still have it in your universe. And I would even go as far as doing a superior upsell. There's actually a CRM system that uses this model in marketing called High Level. And they do this a lot where there's nothing in terms of websites or interaction of like software is there isn't a lot of content on their site to advertise the main consumer, because all they go after is the gurus of marketing. And so what they do is they have this huge Facebook group following of like 20,000 users who continue to ask for features and requests because they sell the application to the end consumer model. So you could either go directly white label to that sort of mid-tier consumer, so like B2B, and then they go to the B2C. That might be easier in order to gain enough people, enough features, enough fixes, enough tests testers before going directly to a B2C model. The goal would be to go to B2C because obviously the more overall overarching of individual people will get you a huge amount of users and allow you to compete with NerdWallet. But it would get through a lot of your phase testing if you go directly to B2B, just based on the number of features. It's very clean, very simple. That's a good thing, but it's also something where I feel like that tribe thing would just take it over the edge, because otherwise it's posting. I can see posts and stuff from users all over saving. It's like, I don't care who those people are. And if you have a younger generation, like, I don't care. These are my friends. These aren't people I know. Whereas you could have a tribe where you, like, as you said, a financial influencer says, just like any influencer, usually they have a Discord server. Come join our Discord server, go learn about content, go learn about this stuff. You could take the same thing and say, hey, download our SmartMov app specifically and go join our tribe, and then we can like encourage each other to basically hit this goal. And that allows something for the influencer to interact with their community. It allows for something that, again, you have a subscription based service to that white label B2B, and depending on how many users of that influencer, they get, perks. Maybe they get some extra feature, or their dashboard is different, or, it removes certain items or something. You can, do a different tier model just for influencers that say this is specially to you. But I'm keep on going, but that's basically what I would look at as B2B and B2C. B2B, I think, is faster in terms of getting accelerated growth for user base, which user base is going to be key, versus B2C. I think definitely you have the ability, but that feature with the tribe is what's going to bring on that connection. And I think will make the difference. Is that external connection or that personal connection, because there is so many applications like this. You mentioned the Instagram with so many people saying another ad for another financial app, another ad for a social media photo app, something. There's always something, but unless your friends are on it, no one cares. So if you do that, then I think that'll put you in the right place.
Thank you. And I hope to plug your brain a little bit more tomorrow. Yep.
I know we're gonna talk tomorrow, so I'm done for now. But that was my tidbit. It was really great presentation, James, and I'm glad I showed up to kind of get the rundown of it.
Thanks for that, Stephanie. Good morning, Jessica.
Good morning. Sorry, I'm walking right now, but James, I have just a couple things, sort of two different directions. One is I'm wondering what you are doing to allow friends who have friends that need credit help to access this app. So there are often people who really need the help, but don't think they do, or are not necessarily ready to do something like this. And so how are you incentivizing friends to introduce this as, you could probably really use this? And maybe that's, like Stephanie said, sort of getting the tribe. So somebody who's using it already goes to their friend that really could use it and really would get advantage of it. But I'm wondering sort of maybe some kind of group program where, like, the more people you bring in, the more you get off of, or I don't know how you do this, honestly, but something like that, where the people who could really use it but maybe aren't ready for it. That's one arena. And two, this is awesome for millennials, but what about boomers? There's a ton of people who are retiring right now and learning now new habits of living on a budget. And it's a completely different scenario where they literally might run out of money. And I know this because I talk to a lot of them. And so what are you doing to make this really simple and attainable and sort of interesting and usable for older people who are already living in retirement, which could be a whole different segment for you?
So the first question, I wish I had a great answer to. So how to kind of meet those people at that pivot moment of, like, they're right there at that inflection. We're putting a lot of thought into it, but we're just not sure where to hit it yet. So we're gonna try to do a few things, but we just right now, there'll be referrals and things like that. But, personal finance, people would rather have the talk with their children than talk about money. And that's everything there. So we got to find a way so that it's a helpful thing and get that playing and that gamification. So then people aren't going, oh, you're saying that my finances are a mess. It's more of, hey, I saved a ton of money just because of the fact that I didn't realize that I could really truly save $500 by doing this insurance company. Like, seriously, it's that easy. So we got to come up with some of those sorts of things. Just because, you know, the Robin Hoods, you know, they send you the links, you know, the M1s, they'll send you a link, all these different ones you can share and you get, you know, some money back. But we want to make it so it's not more about the money and more about the fact that you're helping people and creating that tribe environment. So we haven't solved for that. And then for the boomers, oh, the boomers. So I talked to a lot of boomers, and some of them, one, we have to make it a lot easier. It is not even easy right now for millennials to go, oh, this is what the app is doing. So we have to fix what we're doing in the first part. And then from there, we can kind of work towards creating that really easy, simple interface that like the iPhone has really captured, where, oh, I always know what I'm doing. It's very simple. It walks me through it. And once we do that, I think we can help people on a fixed budget and kind of do that. And that's where we'll roll out and additional features down the road where budgets actually come in and that sort of thing.
Great.
Awesome, thanks.
On that same note, Jessica, the first question, I think that's why it's so important to partner with businesses, because so let's say you partner with like a financial advisor like Jessica or a credit consultant like myself. We are working with people who are ready. So they've already reached this point in their life where their financial future is important. And so just, you know, partnering with them, you're able to tap into that market. And then you don't have to explain you need to save. It's you've already got that. They've already got that baseline and they know that they need to do it. But also, you know, real estate agents, lenders, accountants, they also work with people that are at a stage where their finances are important. So you don't have to go convince them that they need to save. So Matthew.
Yeah, I have two questions for you. One around the area of working with financial coaches. Can you explain a little bit more about what your approach would be and how you would be a value add to the financial coach's business model, particularly, and I share that in part because I guess one of the things that I've come in contact with is, you know, it's one thing to mechanically save money, but the mindset around the saving behavior is also a different thing. And so you know, if I was a financial coach leveraging this app, I would want to understand, for example, what education are you going to be providing around mindset, around savings, or is it just the application and it's my job to change their mindset? So therefore, first question, curious around the coaching thing, and then the follow-up question or the secondary question is, one of my biggest hurdles with some of these applications is, you know, I'll get super excited. I'll find this awesome app. I'll want to use it. I'll get it all set up. And then I'll realize, because sometimes this happens, my bank feed doesn't work with the app. And now all of a sudden, all that excitement I had around the app, it's like, okay, well, it doesn't import that credit card or it doesn't import that particular bank. So what are you doing to address ensuring that you have a good stock of banks that can be integrated into the application to support the users who might have those sort of outlier banks? So those are my questions.
Okay, so I think I got 3 questions now. So the last one, the easy one, is our partnership with Plaid and Dwala. So Plaid, just basically, they keep adding them. So we have found about 3 or 4 banks that weren't on Plaid, but Plaid actually got them moved on there and solved for some problems. So we're using that established business to bring the other banks in right off the bat. So that's our hope for being able to include as many people as possible. Step 2 of that question is actually, we're looking at actually becoming a bank per se, where we can actually allow people to create accounts with us directly. if needed. So if, for example, we can't solve that problem, we'll be able to do that. So that also reduces the fees and that sort of thing to allow us to help people. So we're hoping those two things will help us really hit like 98%. And there might still be that 2% that we still can't help, but we hope to solve for that. To the money coach question, we want to be that tool in their tool belt. So what we think is really cool for a money coach is they're going through and helping people create maybe a savings plan sometimes for their budgets and what they're saving for. And so in the language, the lingo is sinking funds and that sort of thing. So you start planning for some of those big expenses that just always happen, that for the most part, a lot of people get nipped on because they just don't think about it because it's not on the front of mind. A lot of people are always thinking vacation, they're thinking that, but they forget the fact that, oh yeah, every year I have to pay for my car to register it. Every year there's a problem with my car that something comes up like tires or something like that. If I'm a homeowner, every year I have to maintain my HVAC systems and, boring stuff like that. So the financial coaches can help people plan around those. So it's not a moment where they're like, it's a disaster and I have this emergency fund. It's money that they've already put towards, a deductible or something like that, that then can help that flywheel effect. So that's where we think that we can be that goal where they can create as many of those savings goals as possible. So that's where we think that's step one. And then on the other part where we think down the road where we're going to be able to help people isn't necessarily around financial education. That falls kind of more on squarely on the coaches, but the habit formation of save first instead of spending first, and having that tribe mentality of the financial coaches in there and they're coaching you along because they're a part of your tribe. You're a part of their tribe. So now they're like, well done. You just saved yourself $60 this week because you guys skipped out on going and you cooked some meals at home, or you decided to take out a new skill by, maybe going and teaching yourself to cook or something cool like that. So that though, I think I answered 1, 2, 3. I think I did it.
Nice, yes. Or I think you would appreciate this, James, or the lean cuisine rather than ordering lunch.
Yes.
Yeah, I need some recognition for that. It's not easy, but.
Like, it's cardboard.
Sheila.
Hi. Yeah, kind of like what I think Matthew said about mindset, even going further, I'm just curious about it sounds very logical, your approach. But what about all the reasons people overspend, kind of similar reasons to overeating, overdrinking, overdoing, where, it's sort of about identity or about retail therapy or making yourself feel better somehow, especially among stressful situations. Kind of like when you said, to lease a Jeep when you're in college, like that was kind of an identity choice, maybe. So I was just curious how you would approach those types of reasons that people don't save.
Well, interesting that you speak about the retail therapy, because I think that might actually be one of our benefits. If we can reach those people, they're able to save towards something that's much even more important, because what we're finding is that once you do that, the very act of moving that money, spending it within the app gives you that same boost. And if you're saving it and buying towards that vacation in Paris, all of a sudden you're not spending it on an object that sits in your closet, but you're spending it on an object that is sitting maybe virtually waiting for you to go to Paris. And that's where then you can kind of help people, because we're going to be putting notifications and stuff like that once we get a little longer term here, where it's like, oh, you're 10% of the way to your Paris thing. It only takes this much more to get there. So that's the retail therapy thing. We really think we can help people, because we're going to be replacing one habit with another habit. We really do think that, Now, for those instances where people, you know, just want to see me type thing, where they really want to go and buy, you know, a BMW or whatever, we may not actually be able to solve for that. What we can maybe do is solve for the fact that if they're logical, they can go, oh, I can buy that Jeep for $19,000 instead of $27,000 later and giving it back to the doggone dealership because of the lease. You know, I have something tangible after that 5-year lease, something like that. And we got to work on that education part, but that's, you know, that me buying a lease, you know, I should have one should have went, oh yeah, I have to turn that in 5 years or spend $10,000 to buy it from them because I don't own it. So we got to work on that side.
That was a great question, Sheila. And then we'll end Q&A with Jay.
Mine is just a comment and short, but I just want to say kudos. I think at my work at the library, I've done a lot of financial literacy workshops and classes and things. And one of the challenges that we faced in the marketing of that was that realizing that the very nature of this kind of programming or assistance, people feel bad, like they feel like they've done something wrong, like and so sort of overcoming that in the marketing and in the design of the thing too, it is important, because that's like overcoming that hurdle of like, and changing that dynamic from I've done something wrong to this is something that's fun, this is something that's going to help me and really make some positive change for me. I think that dynamic and that is fantastic.
You hope we hit on it, that you know, like you see it now, we just have to execute on that. And yeah, at our local libraries around here, or even in I came from Kansas City before I moved to Colorado, but yeah, like getting across that hurdle is we got to figure out how to get to people so that they don't feel bad about it. Right.
Yeah. Just sort of touching on that, another comment from earlier too, which was, you know, I was just thinking as we were talking about this, is like, you know, there is a group that this is not for. Like there's a group of people who are financially solvent and we want to go out and spend money. That's good for the economy, but it's not that group. It's the group that's things are tighter. You know, things aren't and they're getting themselves into trouble. But for some of these folks that have tons and tons of money, like that's not what this is for.
Well, and I actually reached out, and because this is a great point, there's a financial counselor that we're working with here, but she works with net incomes basically greater than 100K, like in low cost. And these people are still having a problem saving. And that's her whole like business, is she's just going after those people that have a lot of money. They say that, oh, we want to save money. Well, not necessarily. It's just because they're in the minutia of spending for school, for their kids, for the 2 cars and the mortgage, this. And they're like, oh, but you would be helping them not give up the coffee, but maybe identifying the other places where they're overspending that brings zero joy, like home insurance.
Awesome. Thank you again for your presentation, James. That was amazing. And we always like to ask the big question, what can the 1 Million Cups community do for you? And you kind of outlined it in your asks, but maybe if there's something else, or if you want to highlight those.
Yeah, I'll just hit on again that we really need to work on our marketing to make it so that it's like more of a solution versus this is a feature list. So we got to work on that. So any help around that. And then of course, just getting in there and testing. If you can just jump in there or share it with somebody, and then share feedback with us. We're already going to be rolling out another thing because of the fact that the feedback has been, well, we get in there, but we don't know what to do. So now we're going to try to create these tiles where you can actually click on the fun things that you've done to save money, like oh, the lean cuisine, you click on it and it automatically brings you and saves you $4 and that sort of thing. So hopefully we can do that.
Cool, cool. Thank you again, James. And for anyone else, if your business is new or you're in a transition, trying something new and you're willing to ask for help and learn, then we would love to hear from you. You can use that link to apply. And then also, we're always looking for more community volunteers to get involved. So if you're looking for a way to give back to the community, this is a great opportunity. And that's personally why I volunteered as an organizer. But you can do so by emailing us, seattle@1millioncups.com, or just reaching out to one of us organizers here. And then don't forget to bookmark the link tree for everything we talked about and anything else you may need for 1MC Seattle. And then bookmark your calendars for Wednesdays at 9 a.m. And the next 2 weeks, the 22nd and the 29th, we will not be meeting. So our next 1 Million Cups will be January 5th, and we'll be doing an espresso round. So this is where we all get a minute or two to talk about our business, and then we get 2 questions from the community. So it's a great way for people to learn more about what you do, and then for you to learn more about what others do. I recommend inviting your network to this. It's a really good way to kind of stay in touch with the people in your network, and then again, just see, you know, what it is that they're up to, if they're doing something new, and kind of just keep that relationship growing. So we're going to do breakout rooms. I think Dan is setting those up. Dan, do you want to talk about how we're going to do those today?
Yeah, we're going to have a choose your own breakout room. So there'll be 4 breakout rooms, and you'll have the option to manually opt into a breakout room. And that'll give you the ability to switch between those rooms as well, if you'd like. We usually, our meeting officially ends at 10, but oftentimes the breakout rooms go beyond that time, and that's just fine. Usually we're kind of cutting off things at around 10:15 or so at the latest.